The reality within our healthcare system today is that when someone you care about gets really sick, by the time you find out, it's most often too late to do anything about it. It's heartbreaking. Said Elizabeth Holmes, once called the youngest ever self-made female billionaire, wearing a black turtleneck, standing on the signature round red carpet on her first TED Talk. Elizabeth was invited in this TED Talk to discuss about her revolutionary healthcare technology corporation Theranos in 2014. Elizabeth said, her corporation made it possible to eliminate tubes and tubes of blood that traditionally have to be drawn from an arm and replaced it with a nanotainer. Fast forward to 2021, Elizabeth Holmes has been charged with wire fraud and conspiracy. Her once worth of $9 million company have already been shut down and liquidated. Today, Theranos tells the story of deceit, manipulation, and toxic work environment. The story of the worst disaster of the history of Silicon Valley. Elizabeth went on a trip to Asia in her late teens and witnessed the SARS outbreak. After the trip, she came home and worked on a patent idea to create a wearable patch that can test the blood of the wearer and admit the right amount of medicine. She dropped out of her university to work on her own company. She was in her freshman year when she dropped out of her chemical engineering degree. But the lack of formal education did not stop her from starting her own company, though her interests have been shifted from wearable patches to nanotainers by then. She started Theranos in 2004. With her master in manipulation skill, she managed to receive $1 million from her old neighbor for her company. Her persuasive and manipulative personality helped her to attract investors. Walgreens and Safeway gave her $105 million in loan. Partner Fund invested $94 million. Rupert Murdoch invested $125 million. Walmart invested $150 million. The DeVos family invested $100 million in the company. Elizabeth was politically well connected. She fundraised for Hillary Clinton for her 2016 campaign. The board of Theranos was made out of extremely successful, well-known and experienced personalities like Donald Lucas, former US Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, former Director of US Office Management and Budget George Shultz, former Secretary of Defense James Norman Mattis. Elizabeth had the board wrapped around her finger. She also hired Avi Tevanian, former Senior Vice President of Software in Apple. While studded with all the glamour, Theranos was gaining popularity in the outer world. The real picture inside the company was getting uglier. The blood testing machine that was developed by the company named Edison was providing the employees with wrong test results. While the machine was promised to be able to test for more than 200 blood indicators at its best, it was not able to test more than 12. Former Theranos employee Erica Chung explained the situation to the COO of the company, Ramesh Balwani, who is also known as Sunny Balwani. He dismissed the concerns Erica had. Other employees expressed their concerns too, but their words fell into deaf ears. Anyone who agreed with Elizabeth got promoted, and anyone who did not used to get fired. She pushed her already overworked employees to work more. Ian Gibbons, Theranos chemistry lead, allegedly committed suicide due to the toxic work environment of the company. Employees getting fired or leaving the company became a norm. Edison machines were supposed to be installed in the wellness centers of Walgreens and Safeway. Safeway even went on invested $350 million to renovate their stores to accommodate the Edison machine. But they only met with the constant launch delays and excuses. Eventually, when they started taking blood samples from Safeway for testing, they used third-party machine to run the tests and lied to Safeway that they were tested in the Edison machine. The machines that were installed in Walgreens produced alarmingly wrong test results. While all this were happening, Elizabeth kept doing public appearances. In a public interview, Elizabeth said, "We're the only lab company that is actually really focused on leading with transparency," while there is no trace of transparency from her side. The story of dysfunction inside the company and the news of bizarre test results from Walgreens captured the attention of John Carreyrou, a reporter from the Wall Street Journal with the help from Richard Swiss and some former employees. John Carreyrou published his article on Theranos on 15 October 2015. After that article, FDA carried a surprise inspection at Theranos and found proof that Theranos testing machine was not as efficient as promised and provides wrong test results, which can be dangerous to public health. That's how the downfall of Theranos started. Theranos was sued by their investors. Partner Fund sued Theranos for $100 million. Walgreens sued Theranos for $140 million. Elizabeth, the CEO of Theranos, and Ramesh Balwani, the COO, both pleaded not guilty for their actions. Theranos paints this picture of the modern-day phenomenon of human obsession with moonshots. When people want to believe blindly in extremely ambitious and revolutionary projects that they ignore the non-glamorous reality. This bizarre but interesting story of Theranos will live in human history as a reminder of a reality.